welcome to Eye on Business. I'm Christine Donalo from Luzerne County Community College, and my guests today are Nancy Sarno de los Rios and Steve Zarnik. And today we're going to be talking about one-stop donation drop, which is on April 17th. So welcome, Nancy. Welcome, Steve. Nancy, could you tell us a little about what this is, what the event is about?
Sure, I'd be happy to. The One-Stop Donation Drop is somewhat of a unique event where we ask the public to go through their closets and their garages and find gently used items, bring them to our sites on April 17th between 10 and 2, and we will then distribute them to the local nonprofits and charities in our area that have wish lists and needs for their clients.
Well, how did this come about? Because there's lots of places to donate goods, from the Salvation Army to Goodwill to even, the Women's Resource Center.
Right. Well, how the idea came about was a few years ago I was looking at a Women's Day article, and it said, if you have a bicycle, send it here, and if you have a cell phone, send it there. And I thought, well, that's a great idea, but boy, wouldn't it be convenient if you could do it all at one time? So the One-Stop Donation Drop was born. I started looking around on Googling where to donate shoes and all these things, and then I realized how much of a need there was locally, and things didn't have to go across the country. We could just have our own local nonprofits benefit.
Oh, so and how does Steve get involved in this?
Well, and I think it was October of maybe 2008, my phone rang and it was Nancy, and she said, hey, I work for 1-800-GOT-JUNK, and she said, hey, would your company like to get involved with this one-stop donation drop? And she was very proactive. She called me 6, 7, 8 months in advance, and we said, sure, get back to me in the spring. So she had us, and she called me back in February of 2009 and explained to me she read about it in Women's Day magazine, and it was, sounded like a great event because our company gets a lot of stuff that's usable, and we see how people just have no problem throwing stuff out. So we take a really reactive approach to trying to divert as much as we can from landfills, and we figured this would be great because we come into all the same type of stuff, couches and furniture.
So can we get some more details on what people do? Where is it? What kind of stuff you take and that kind of
there's
thing?
A couple different locations. Nancy can kind of talk about hers that she has, and we're working in another spot as well.
The event started out in the Clark Summit area, so this year we're at the Clark Summit United Methodist Church on the Morgan Highway. We have a website, which is donationdrop.org, and on the website at the top of the homepage is a button you can click on to get the wish list. And we basically are taking almost everything. The only thing we're not taking are tires and some large items where you could contact the agencies directly. You don't have to carry your dishwasher or your couch. You can have the agency contact it directly. They'll pick them up. But
Does 1-800-JUNK pick it up?
We will. We will. If you contact on the website, you can. You'll see at the donationdrop.org there's information.
And so we're taking children's clothing, books, toys, even Beanie Babies. And those are going to go overseas to with the servicemen to be handed out to the children in war-torn countries. So it's amazing. Pretty much everything we can take.
And who gets this merchandise?
Primarily, it's local agencies. Children in Youth Services, St. Joe's, Catholic Social Services, Scranton Rescue Mission, Romy's Place up in Susquehanna Closet. Friends of the Poor Kids Closet, Shelf to Shelf, which is an organization through the Voluntary Action Center that gives books to children that don't have books, and many people don't even know it exists, but it's a great way to repurpose items.
So what happens is I come on April 17th to Clark Summit, and is there any place in the Scranton area?
Sure, I'll let Steve talk about that. He's with Leadership Lackawanna, who's also expanding the project.
Thanks, Nancy. So we're going to have the secondary location of the One-Stop Donation Drop on Saturday, April 17th, between 10 and 2 on the University of Scranton's campus. We have set up a location on the corner of Madison and Linden, which is called Founders Green, which is right next to Brennan Hall. And a rain date is across the street at the former Girl Scout house. So we have two locations set up. One for, if it's nice out, we'll be at the Founders Green, which is on Madison and Linden. And again, if it's raining, we'll be right across the street at the old Girl Scout house. And it's going to be the exact same as it was run up in Clark Summit. We'll be collecting for the same charities, local people, some places like Nancy mentioned with Beanie Babies going overseas, and cell phones for soldiers. Basically, we're taking anything that is in
In good
usable
condition.
anything. And like Nancy said, if you have stuff that's bigger and you don't want to put in your car to bring down, get on the website at donationdrop.org and you can put in a request. You can contact the charities themselves. Someone will be able to come and help you out and pick it up and get it out to people that need it.
And so if I'm a nonprofit and I have an org that's not involved with your group, is there some way that I can participate?
Sure, they could just go again to the website and go to info@donationdrop.org, and the information gets to myself and some other committee members, and we'd be happy to talk to them. We are asking the community to make a $5 donation or bring non-perishable food items as a donation to help us defer some costs that we're incurring, obviously, to run the event. And we're also trying to fill a food pantry or two through the food donations, so that's another aspect of the event.
So does everything, we drop the stuff off, do the organizations come that day and pick up the stuff? How do you get the stuff to the organizations?
Well, we have many volunteers. Last year we had over 40 volunteers on site, so anyone wanting to volunteer the day to help sort items, they could contact us.
We'll definitely take volunteers, that's for sure.
And once we sort the items and check them out, think of these things as gifts. These are gifts to the next user, so we like them to be clean and in good working condition. Toys should have all their parts. It should be as if you were going to give it to someone in your family. So once we get all those things organized, we'll either help an organization take them to their site, or they'll have their own ways of moving it to their site, and then they distribute it to their clients. We ask that the general public don't come on that day looking to have something given to them. It does need to funnel through the different nonprofits.
And if I can't come that particular day for some reason, is there any place that I could drop it off prior or after the event, or is it just one day that's the only day you do it?
Well, that's a good question. Right now, it's only one day that we're going to be doing it. I think that we've kind of played with the idea of trying to extend it maybe to twice a year. But again, not to sound redundant, but if you go onto the website, there's a ton of information there with the charities. So there's a wish list with all the charities that we're working with in local areas. So if you know that, hey, One Stop Donation Drop came and went, now I have stuff to donate, it's July, I'll go on the website. I can call Romy's Place, I can call Children and Youth, I can call all these places and say, hey, can I bring this stuff to you? So the website is a great tool for people to be able to use for that, like I said, for stuff that they can't bring themselves. And any questions can really be just right to the website, and it'll get to one of us and we'll be able to answer it.
Now, just in case, is there a telephone number just in case people don't have access to a website? I always say go to the library if you don't have a computer to go. But sometimes, there's a population that doesn't have computers.
Sure.
Could they call one of the nonprofits?
Well, in my day job, I have Sarno and Son tuxedos. So if someone wants to call the Sarno and Son location in Scranton at 570-504-2300 and ask for Nancy Sarno de los Rios, I'd be happy to contact them that way and get them the information. Leadership Lackawanna is doing the Scranton location. Leadership Wilkes-Barre is actually doing something the same day, the same time at the Kingston Armory. They are also gathering gently used items specifically to stay in Luzerne County. So people who are down in the Luzerne area are more than welcome to contact Leadership Wilkes-Barre. They also have a link on our website, donationdrop.org, and get a list of items that they'll be collecting in that county.
And I'm sure you could also call Leadership Lackawanna at the chamber, because
Oh yeah, you can call the chamber.
and the chamber would know about the event. If people can't remember names and stuff like that, you can always remember the chamber. So it seems like it's a wonderful event. I know you've done this before. Do you have an idea of what do you normally get? I know you get a lot of stuff, but
it was really...
Or what would you really like? Let me put it that way. Maybe that's a better thing. What's the need? The
my
biggest
gosh.
need?
The biggest need is clothing and household items. Anything, believe it or not, alarm clocks. I was speaking with the woman from Catholic Social Services who relocates refugees, and she said, we need alarm clocks so that people can get up for their jobs. How simple is that? But how much we take for granted every day. Clothing and shoes and bedding and linens and and everyone wants a toy, and books. We recycle all the books, and even soccer equipment. Some of it stays local, but some of it goes to third world countries to help children, play soccer and form skills that way. But last year, I would say we probably filled about 10 or 11 vans full of merchandise that went out to the different organizations. And Steve really didn't take things away very much that were not usable. It was really quite amazing.
That's good.
Yeah, we had things with brand new tags on them that people were so kind in giving to us.
Well, that does happen. Sometimes we look at sometimes I say before we go shopping, we should look in our closets because there's a lot of stuff in there. So between now and April 17th, people should start looking through their
Right.
closets and drawers.
We're giving you
and
time.
There's plenty
Spring
of
cleanup.
time to spring cleanup. It's spring and it is spring cleanup. So again, could you just tell the locations and the time and how they can contact you?
Sure. The Clark Summit location is at the corner of the Morgan Highway and Grove Street at the United Methodist Church. It'll be from 10 to 2 a.m. 10 to 2 p.m. And everyone who comes also too, the first 100 people will get an Arbor Day tree because it is Earth Day time.
Oh.
So, and I'll let Steve talk about the University of Scranton location.
So the event in Scranton is on the corner of Madison and Linden at the Founders Green on the campus of the University of Scranton on Saturday, April 17th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And again, you know what to bring, so get in the closets, start cleaning them out. We're waiting to bring as much as we can, and we're hoping this year on estimating landfill diversion. Last year we figured we took about 10 to 12 tons out of the waste stream, which is a good start. And this year we're hoping with the Scranton, Clark Summit, and Wilkes-Barre location to be between 30 and 35 tons of material that would otherwise end up in a landfill. Not only is it being pulled out of the waste stream, but it's being put into needy hands. I mean, you have no idea. People in this area and all over the country and the world that just have nothing. You have
Right.
no idea.
We're so lucky.
I mean, you really take it for granted. We did some work, 1-800-GOT-JUNK, removed mattresses from a local hotel that were replacing them, getting new ones, 400 mattresses. Every single one was donated to people that didn't have mattresses.
It
So
is-
it's pretty incredible. It really
is
is.
amazing what happens and stuff. And I know that we're talking about this event on April 17th, and I'm at Luzerne County Community College, and we're doing an event to help people with getting jobs, and it's called Solutions, Find Your Pathway to Employment in a Tough Economy. And it's on April 30th at Luzerne County Community College. It's a free event. You have to register, so the telephone number is 740-0495. But if you call Luzerne County Community College and ask for the Continuing Ed Department, we can help you. And basically what we're going to be doing is workshops on making your skills an asset in your job search, re-careering at any age, alternatives to unemployment, how to market yourself in a tough economy, social media, because right now if you're looking for a job, social media like Facebook and LinkedIn is a very important component of finding a job. So we'll do a workshop on that. Wondering what you should do with your time. Possibly if you are unemployed and you don't have a job, you could volunteer for your organization on April
Absolutely.
17th. Financing a business, if you're looking, again, you're unemployed and maybe you want to start a business, and unemployment, how the system works. So it's a great day event. It's free to the community. You can be from any part of the Northeast PA to attend. It's April 30th at Luzerne County Community College. And just call the Continuing Ed office, 740-0495. So thank you. I'd like to thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you for Nancy Sarno de los Ros and Steve Zanuck. And their event is on April 17th. And you can check their website for information about it. And I'm Christine Donolo. And this is Eye on Business.
Welcome back to Eye on Business. I'm Stan Zigmund with the University of Scranton. My co-host is Christine Donolo with Luzerne County Community College. And our second guest is Natalie Pettinato O'Hara with Pace Construction Managers. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And congratulations on being one of the top women in business in
Thank you.
Northeastern Pennsylvania.
Thank you very much.
First, I'd like to just ask you, can you tell us a little bit about your business, construction?
Sure. It's sort of a funny field for a woman to be involved in, but I never realized that until I got there. I grew up in the business. It was started by my grandfather in 1932, so we're in our 78th year in business. We are a general trades and construction manager firm. We do all sorts of things such as schools and parking garages and courthouse renovations. We recently participated in the courthouse renovation in downtown Scranton for Lackawanna County. We've done other projects such as the Scranton Police Headquarters. We were the construction manager for that. We were the general trades prime contractor for the Emergency Services Center for Lackawanna County up in Jessup in the Industrial Park for taking us from worst to first, as they said at the time. But we do all sorts of things. We've done the Medallion Parking Garage and all sorts of varied tasks, various schools, etc. over the years. And we're not any sort of giant conglomerate company. We're a small family-owned firm in our third generation. My sister and I run the business. and we're happy to build the future of Northeastern Pennsylvania with our community.
So your sister and you run the business. How long have you been doing it?
In 2005, so I guess it's 5 years now. 2005, we took over from our father, and back in the, I don't know, 70s or 80s, my father and his brother took over from their dad. His brother had since retired, and my father had sole operation of the business and passed it to us down in 2005.
Oh, nice.
Was
Yes.
it something that you were just assumed that you were going to take over? I know we spoke off camera, and I mentioned just about women and not in a typical role. Is it something that was just taken for granted that you were going to do it?
I was
or-
always my father's girl. Followed in his footsteps. He's a civil engineer from Lehigh University, and therefore I was a civil engineer from Lehigh University. I always went to work with him when I was a child. I worked in the office in summers and various things when I was growing up, Christmas breaks, etc., and always enjoyed it. It's always something different, always something new every day. It's certainly not monotonous, and we really enjoy that sort of thing, and just sort of it became a natural extension. And like I said, I never realized that it was an uncommon place for a woman to be until I got there.
What about for engineering? Was it uncommon to be a female engineer?
Yes. I want to say I was one of about 10 women in a class of 100 plus civil engineers. So we definitely stood out, put it that way.
Academically.
Yeah, I did all right academically. I did. I was consistently in the top, I don't know, maybe 10 or 20% of the class, so it was okay.
Well, the nice part about it is both Stan and I are in education, and one of the things I keep looking at is women going into businesses that are not the typical type of business, and that the skill sets that people need are like science and math and what have you. And so it's very nice that the show can kind of showcase a woman in business in a non-traditional field, and that other women can look at, and girls, young girls can look at, well, maybe I can do construction, and maybe I can also do some other kind of well digging or something like that, or own a trucking company. We sometimes have to break the mold, so it's good that you've been able to do that.
Absolutely. They can do anything that they put their minds to, truly. I'm not one for the English subjects and the reading and the history. I love to read for pleasure, but I don't excel. That's not my skill set. I excel in math and science, and that's why I became an engineer, because that's what you need to do. Different people have different skill sets. There's people that are skill sets to be librarians, there's people that are skill sets to be elementary school teachers, and there's people that are skill sets to work in math and science. And those people could be male or female on either side of the board, whether it's a male nurse or
Right.
a woman in construction.
Right.
I know we both work in education, and the trend is more females getting college degrees and even more going on to graduate school. Have you seen more women in construction, more women in engineering? Have you noticed any of those trends?
I can't say that I have, but I sadly am not as in touch with my alma mater as I'd like to be, only because it's a 2-hour ride to get to any of their events, and it's just with a family and a business to run, it just there doesn't always seem to be time for that. What I am involved in lately that has allowed me to see some of that is I'm also on the board of the Professional Women in Construction chapter here in Northeastern Pennsylvania. Who knew we had a chapter
I didn't
here,
know we
right?
had that.
Exactly. There are maybe about 5 or 6 board members that were around to start it a few years back. And it was the brainchild of Mary Unga Martin as our president. She is an attorney locally who focuses on construction law and was a member of the national chapter in New York, and said, there's women in construction here. I know there are. I'm going to find them, and I'm going to start a chapter for us here. And she did, with the help of a few other board members. And we've had those basic initial board members since the start, with a couple of additions here and there, and we plan activities and do things educational and networking and that kind of thing to foster women in construction.
Yeah, probably the networking helps too, because
does.
you find out what's going on. Now, you mentioned a whole array of construction tasks that you do. Can you tell us what is a typical day for you?
A typical day. Well, before I came here today, I was working on an estimate for a project that we're bidding this afternoon, doing some concrete takeoff, counting it, basically figuring out how much concrete we need and how much labor we need to perform the work. I do everything from that to
Is a lot of that mathematical that you do? Okay.
Yep, measuring and quantifying and mathematical. A lot of it is seeing, what has it taken us to do that sort of work in the past, and comparing our historical data to use our numbers and come up with a price to be able to do it. Then I spend a lot of my day working with the owners, doing administrative things. A lot of times we'll find an owner that is perhaps on the verge of a project, not really sure what they want to do, not sure how much it's going to cost them, and they need to figure out if this project will work financially for them, especially now in today's economy where every penny is accounted for times two. We are constantly doing prices for owners where we're doing their design development for them, basically, before they even get an architect or an engineer on board, and figuring out what are they going to need and what's it going to take, and giving them a ballpark estimate of what it's going to take to get their project done so that they can line up their financing and that sort of thing, and with the hopes, obviously, that they come back to us when they're ready to do their job and hire us to actually build it. So that I spend a lot of my days doing that, and the administration of the various jobs that we're working on, making sure we've got the right staff and the right, making sure we get the change orders, that if they change something, and get the pricing back and all that sort of thing. So it's a lot of administrative things.
Do you go onto sites a lot? Is a lot of it actually on site, or is a lot of it office work?
Primarily, I'm in the office. I do make it out to the sites now and again. We have a couple of really great project managers that report back to me every day what's going on in the sites, so that I don't have to physically be there every day. But I keep a set of boots under my desk just in case. The hard hats in the car at all times. So I'm ready to go whenever I need to go, but I'm not there on a daily basis.
Now, are your children? Are you bringing them up? Are they too young to get into the business yet?
Yeah, I have one son, and he is too young, but he loves his trucks, and he loves his digging, and he calls them all diggers. He doesn't know the difference between an excavator and a grader and a cement mixer yet, but they're all diggers.
I don't know the difference
either.
Yeah.
But he loves them just the same. So I think will be a good little worker bee when he gets older and involved. Yeah.
Well, actually, I shouldn't say just for girls, but for younger generation coming up. I know we had a guest on that talked about trades. There's a program, I think, with Johnson College.
And actually, Johnson College has one, and Luzerne County Community College has one called the Pre-Apprenticeship Program. And it's actually because the unions are finding that, the carpentry union, the electrician union, are finding that people are retiring, and
their membership
is dwindling.
Absolutely.
And they have to fill the ranks. And so the state has actually helped fund some programs to do pre-apprenticeship. And so both colleges offer at least once a year a pre-apprenticeship program where people who are high school seniors or a little bit older than that can enroll in these classes and learn about basically construction, because there's an art to it. It's not even if you're building a building, you have to be able to measure the lumber, or you have to, as you say, figure out the cement, how much cement you need, and that's really it's a skill. We don't look at those professions sometimes as skills, but there are skills, and you have to learn things.
One of the very first things I learned in construction. My very first job out of college, was I worked for Turner Construction in the New Jersey territory in a project in Newark. Not a really nice place to have to go to every day, but I learned a tremendous amount, and I'm very grateful for that experience. And one of the very first thing I learned is absolutely have 100% respect for the tradesmen, because they know more about what they're doing than you ever will. Whether it's the guy plastering the wall or hanging the sprinkler pipe, I can't tell him how to do his job. I'm not trained in how to do his job. I know where he needs to be at the end, and I know how fast he needs to get there by virtue of the schedule. But I can't tell him physically, nut and bolt, how to do his job. And I learned that early on, that I have a very healthy respect for the trades. Like you said, it's a skill set, and everybody has a different skill set. And the trades are, I don't want to say struggling right now. Everybody in this economy is struggling, but they are having membership decline because their older members are retiring, and they have a lack of younger members coming in to fill their ranks. You mentioned Johnson College. A couple of years back, Johnson College actually had a female in their carpentry and cabinet making program. She is now, I believe, building custom ships in Fort Lauderdale, somewhere exotic and sunshining, and loving her life. Her aunt happens to be one of the members of the Professional Women in Construction group, and I have gotten that information, that update on her. But I know Johnson was thrilled to have a female in that program.
Well, one of the things we looked at in order to do this pre-apprenticeship program was we were hoping to get girls to apply, and it was very difficult to get them. You know, and I have a sister who's in construction in Texas, and they're kind of oddballs in many ways. And even though it's a wonderful profession, and you know, and you need a lot of skill and what have you, it's just been non-traditional. But I think as time
Right.
goes on with people like yourself and my sister and programs that we try to offer at the colleges, and we try to recruit that population, they're good jobs. They're wonderful jobs. And actually, in tomorrow's fields, a lot of those are the jobs that are going to be needed to be filled. You know, we might not need as many people in offices as we do doing construction, like carpentry and electrician and those kind of fields, because there is a great need for that. And a good plumber, golly.
And a good plumber,
And a
that's
good
right.
plumber, you know, you need all of that kind of thing. So we were going to talk too about the women event at the University
Well,
of
there is,
Scranton.
well, it's at, I don't know if it's at the University of Scranton. There is going to be, congratulations again, one of the top women in business. They were
Thank you.
portrayed 25 were in Northeast Pennsylvania Business Journal in March. So Natalie is one of them, and there will be a dinner, I know, in June honoring them. So again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being our guest.
No
Is
problem.
there
Thank you for
anything
having
that
me.
you wanted to add, like a number to call for more information?
Yeah, sure. If anybody wants more information about Pace Construction and the work that we do, you can certainly check our website. It's www.pacecm.com. And our phone number, if anybody wants to call, use the old school method of calling us. We'd be happy to talk to you and give you some more information. That's 570-343-1159.
And one of the things, too, that I just wanted to mention that's happening at Luzerne County Community College, because we're looking at entrepreneurship, is we're running an event on April 30th, and it's for basically people who are out of work. And there's different topics. It's a free workshop. It's April 30th at Luzerne County Community College. If you're interested in attending, call the Continuing Ed office, 740-0495 at Luzerne County Community College. And part of the workshop will have a speaker named Dick Goldberg, who's from Coming of Age, and he's going to talk about the green economy and the type of jobs that are going to be out there in the future. And then there'll be workshops. One will be on entrepreneurship and how to finance a business. And then unemployment, how the system works. So if you're unemployed, you might want to find out how the system is working. Making your skills an asset is another topic. Social media, if you're not involved in social media today, like LinkedIn and Facebook, or even Bing, that's how people are finding jobs. So it's a free workshop, and we just would like everyone to know about it. And hopefully we can get some women entrepreneurs who are interested in, coming to the workshop. So again, it's at Luzerne County Community College. It's called Solutions: Finding Your Pathway to Employment in a Tough Economy, and it's on April 30th. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christine Donolo, Luzerne County Community College. I'm Stan Zigmund, and this is Ion Business.